Wow, you got a lot going on in here.
Yeah, so we've got, we define it as 2 different lab spaces, our CNC lab where we're standing now, and then our joinery lab with all of our woodworking equipment in the back.
Okay. So we have access control, dust management. We also have air quality.
Yep, we've got the air filters overhead.
Let's start with something straightforward. How about let's go to the table saw.
All right.
So standard table saw, saw stop.
Yep.
220 volts.
220 volts, yeah. So we've got an outlet here in the floor, so our trigger lives right here next to it. And then that's sending power up to the machine. We've got the RFID right here on the side of the trigger box. So we can
and so when you have your lanyard with your card, it's
just reach in, tap it.
It's pretty straightforward and easy to tap and touch.
Yeah.
And then how is this tool set up and configured in terms of timeouts or?
Yeah, so this one is just a pure timeout.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the exact, I think we've given them about a minute after their first tap to turn the machine on. And then it's about a minute after they've turned the machine off that they can turn it back on. We do have this saw set to where it does receive constant power because the saw stop mechanism has a little bit of a boot up time.
The keep trigger on setting.
So the keep trigger on is set for this one as well. I think that's the only one in the wood shop that has keep trigger on.
Gotcha. And then the setting that will ignore inrush current. The setting that would ignore inrush current, so that when that
first
computer boots up,
it doesn't look like
it
it's
doesn't
triggered
think
the
that
saw.
it's running. Sure. So yeah, that's easy peasy to set up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was quick
and then
and easy.
when this guy turns on, it also then turns on.
So we have this tied to our dust collection gates as well as the dust collector itself, which is actually in a separate room from here across the hallway. So it's going to turn on the dust collector, it's going to open the correct gate, and then it's going to close all the rest of the gates so we get all the power here.
And with the mesh network, it has no problem talking to it.
Yep. And it was really great that we were able to also play with settings to where, like, sometimes we were finding we needed to actually leave another gate a little bit open just to get best draw and not cavitate the motor.
Yeah.
And we were able to just set that up and have it cycle another one as well.
Sweet, awesome. All right, so this is a 220 volt standard trigger.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to the drill press here.
Yep.
It's probably very similar in that this has a computer. So
yeah, similar setup. It's a 120 tool, so different trigger, but other than that, it's all set up the same way. We don't have this one tied to dust collection, so this does not communicate with any gates or the collector.
Just access control.
Just access control.
Cool. Yep. All right, and then the chop saw, the messiest one in the shop, right?
Yep. No brain in this one though, so it is pure just timeout. You get a few seconds after you tap the box to line up and make your cut.
One of the new settings that we've put in is you can set it now where as soon as you tap in, it can start the dust collection.
Okay.
Because chop saws are notorious of you're going to make a quick cut and dust collection hasn't even started yet.
Okay.
So it's a...
I'll definitely be switching to that because we've been doing that as a training process of
like wait.
Turn the tool on and wait until you hear it spin up.
Yeah, now you can just touch it.
I mean, it's not too long of a wait, but
people don't do
it. People aren't
don't do it.
That patient.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
Now router tables.
Yeah.
Router tables have some unique things going on, and there's another power profile for them called delay.
Yeah.
Because of that soft
start. Okay.
But again, probably pretty standard on that one.
Yeah, pretty standard setup. We do have it tied to another dust collection, and we have actually a triple tap here. So we're sharing one dust collection line with 3 tools. It was really easy to integrate all 3 tools with that same gate, so they all talk to it.
And then you can set that up.
Exactly. So it's very straightforward.
Awesome. And so 120 volt trigger, and this is another 120 volt
another
standard
120
trigger.
volt standard full setup.
But then jumping over here, we have a contactor.
Yep. And then this one we do have set up once again with it's a flexible dust collection line that we can bring over to this one, and we share that same line with the planer and the jointer. And so both of these tools are once again communicating with the single gate.
Gotcha. So they're all set up on the same.
So they're all set up on the same one.
Awesome.
So it doesn't matter which you turn on; it's all going to open the right ports and turn it all on.
And when a tool's running, you can't use any other tools. So it's not like I could give my card to my buddy.
Well, that's the profile we have set up as our standard. I have set myself up as the one special exception.
Yeah.
I've got that all tools profile that we created, so
all the time.
I can do simultaneous usage on multiple machines, which I do sometimes for workshops. So I'll be like teaching a group and needing to go through because they don't have tool permissions yet. That's how they're getting their tool permissions. So I can walk through and I can tap on the tool, observe them making the cut while I'm stepping back, turning on the next tool,
Gotcha.
helping multiple people.
Okay, yeah, let's get used to the different permission types,
Yeah.
permission group types. And then we got lathes.
Yep, so we've got our wood lathe down here.
That one probably needed some tuning in terms of the activation level to be set.
Yeah, because the profile, the power can be so variable. If you're running at ultra low speed with no chisel engaged, it's not drawing much.
Yeah.
Versus you're spinning at high speed and also bringing in a gouge. Obviously, that's going to be a whole different load.
And then within the app, you can.
Yeah, it really didn't take much because in the app we get that graph. So basically, I just had a staff member stand here while I'm looking at my phone, and I said, okay, do the lowest speed, barely using it. Okay, it's at this level. All right, now do something that's much more aggressive. Okay, that's that level. All right, well let's take the lowest value we saw and set it at that, or set it just below that.
Yeah, just below that. Yeah.
And yeah, that's been so far. Like we set it once, I've not had to touch it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
A water jet.
Yeah.
Now, this one has some unique requirements, right? With when the pump is energized.
Yeah. Yeah. We really can't risk shutting this machine off anytime that it's energized because it's holding up to 60,000 psi in those lines, and we just killed power to it. All that pressure is going to go somewhere, and it's going to do sort of unknown things with all the valves.
Yeah.
And we could risk doing some serious damage.
So then you created a process, and I think this is actually really cool. Easy number on what do I do first, second, and third to get the system up and running.
Yep, so we just have a sort of a numbered sequence boot on process that everybody has to go through. First thing is just throw the big knife switch, so we fully disconnect power anytime it's not in use. So we're going to kick that on.
So grid for this tool is wired in with an industrial trigger.
Yes.
So the electrician came in, ran the wires through the industrial trigger, then back into the saw.
Then back into the saw, or back into the machine.
So power comes on, the grid then is energized, it connects
then
to the
we'll
system.
Start to see the RFID lighting up, letting us know we can sign into it. We make sure we've got our water and air pressure turned on. We don't want to run this machine without water. That'd be pretty bad on the pump.
So we have a new device that is a solenoid.
Oh, cool.
So that could actually be connected as well.
All right, and now let's get another thing to add to my list.
Perfect.
After that, we tap in here. We get the guest to actually sign in so that we know who's using the machine. And then they go through the rest of the boot up cycle of turning the power on, turning on the charge pump, and then turning on the computer that controls the machine.
And so when it's running, you can clearly see that current spike go, and it knows when it's operating.
Yeah. So it's, once again, there's the separate current inrush for when you're starting the machine and you're starting the charge pump, all the sort of accessories to it. And then a whole different draw when you fire the main pump because that's got a giant 3-phase motor in it that's powering up to run that.
So the setting within the RFID that you can tell it how long that boot up is, so during that time it's not looking and thinking that the tool's running.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we have that set up or not, but
I don't think we do yet,
Yeah,
but that's definitely something we should look into. But yeah, then for this one we do have, once again, we have it power cycle. So once the guests are done,
I'm all finished with
power
the cutting I've done.
Yep.
Spent $1,000 in ruby dust, and it's time to turn this thing off. That's how you're able to log yourself out?
Yep, so right now we have, once again, we originally had the tap out process, but we ran into the same problem I talked about in the lasers of guests just not tapping out, and then we'd find it left on at the end of the night. And then the other possibility we looked at was timeout, but the issue there is we never want this to actually power down. We want to make sure we're going through the process to boot it down in the right order. So we just put that back on our guests and say, hey, you need to know part of operation of this machine is safe shutdown. So we're going to have you go through that process.
And then the setting of log out when the grit device loses power.
Exactly.
And that's very similar to how all the electric welding also is done too.
Okay. Yeah. It does mean that the next guest does have to go through the boot up cycle, even if they're waiting right behind them.
Oh, you have them go through the full process even if someone's waiting?
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to show as a different user is operating the machine. But for us, that's also part of learning to operate this machine. We're not here to maximize throughput of jobs cut, because if that's our goal, I would just have an operator positioned here running the machine all day.
Yeah.
Our goal is to train these students how to operate it.
Absolutely.
So, knowing how to turn it on, turn it
extra 2
off
minutes.
is pretty important for that.
Sure. So this one has the industrial trigger, CNC machine.
We've got the e-stop on that.
Got the e-stop.
Yeah.
Let's check that out. All right, again, I see your nice numbers on what to do first, second, third.
Yep. And originally we did have 220 trigger on this, but we swapped out for the e-stop, and it's been great. So for this, we go through the process, turn power on to the machine, tap our grit card here on the side, make sure we haven't engaged the actual e-stop, turn on power, and then the on button actually energizes the whole system. Once that's done, it's up and ready to go. We do have this one on timeout, so you're setting up your file, but we have the power set so that they can still jog the machine around. They can still do all the zeroing work they need to do. The only thing they can't do is if they try to power up the spindle without grit being logged in, it's going to kick the system back off.
So let's check out how that e-stop is wired inside. All right, so we have the e-stop trigger, which allows you to sense current in particular. It allows you to sense current in exact locations. So that current transformer is wrapped around not the wire of the power coming in, but the wire that goes to the spindle.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it can disable the machine, not by killing the power to the tool, but by virtually hitting the emergency stop button.
Yeah. And it's been very easy to reset if it does get triggered. And so far, it's pretty rare.
Nowadays, whenever I see an emergency stop button on any kind of tool, there's a cabinet, it's just immediately e-stop.
Yeah.
So I guess on the dust management side, we have the gates, and we have the air quality.
Yep. So overhead, we have our dust collectors with the air quality sensors and triggers on them. So that's been pretty cool, being able to see a real-time graph of what the air quality in the room is. And
Grit actually stores the metrics data going back for historical.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can see
well, and there's some pretty obvious...
when some of your students have here and you're not, how bad it gets.
Yeah, there's some pretty obvious moments too. Like, I can tell pretty clearly from watching that data when somebody's sanding on the lathe.
Oh, yeah.
Because that one will kick on, and then about 5 to 10 minutes later, that one will kick on. So it's definitely,
awesome.
Sensing that change and then adjusting as it needs to. And the nice thing there is previously we were doing this just by remote, and so we'd come in and we'd turn on the dust, the air purifiers.
The air
both
filters.
of them. I'm actually seeing a little bit less of burn through on my filters because it's only turning them on as needed, and it's not just like running them 8 hours a day anytime we're open. It's
so you guys do change them out on trigger. Nice. Was it hard to get that to work with? Because that one uses an IR remote, right?
Yes, but the little IR eye that came with the grit receiver or grit box was really easy. I'd basically just use the provided tape, put that over the eye, and it's. I think I did a little bit of configuration, but I was able to, do that without much trouble, and I believe I sent that on. So now hopefully that profile's available for whoever's using the Grizzly next.
Awesome. So then I think last stop is going to be dust collection room.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
All right.
Not the most glamorous area in any wood shop.
It never is.
But it's a pretty important spot. So this is our dust collector that is pulling from all of the different tools in the joinery lab. It's also we've got the one floor sweep in the room as well. This has been really great having, because this is a completely separate room. We're not even, in a doorway off of the joinery lab. We have to go out through a hallway. So getting staff to consistently come over here and check where the bin level is at. It's been really nice having the sensor integrated, being able to see what the level is.
Yeah, having it installed right there in the lid.
Yep.
And then the wires that run to the little flashy light just go into the other room.
Exactly. And then this is getting its trigger from all the different tools. Well,
then the mag switch is anything that has a contactor. Right?
Yeah.